Tim Welch claims the lighting at the Sphere contributed to Sugar Sean losing against Merab, and BJ Penn is going back to jail. All this and more coming up next on Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends and still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. This is the UFC news show, and with me today, as always, is the reigning defending being champion of the world, is of course Brooker.
Good day, good evening, good hello.
Good
How's
hello
everybody?
indeed, brother Guy. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to everybody who's watching. Shout out to you. Okay, so on to our top story, BG. Tim Walsh blaming this lighting at the Sphere for the Sugar
Mm.
Sean loss against Merab. Not blaming it, but saying that it was a contributing factor. This is an interview with ESPN's Brett Akimoto. So you can watch the full interview if you'd like to see more from them. But we're just going to focus on this first part. So I'll let the clip play and you can give me your thoughts here, BG.
Camp, we've been able to wrestle and go on the ground a lot more. We go live goes on the ground, go live goes wrestling, go a lot of live against the wall with guys trying to kill him against the wall and pin him and take him down against the wall. And we've been able to just wrestle a lot more. So his reactions are way better when it comes to the wrestling and when it comes to creating scrambles compared to the last fight where it was like, gosh, like I go into practice, I'm like, hey, we're wrestling today, we're doing this today. He's like, I can't wrestle. I can hit mitts, that's all I can do. So for me, it's made me feel a lot better being able to actually put him through hell when it comes to these grappling practices and these wrestling practices.
Okay, so just a little bit there from Tim Walsh. Of
Mm.
course, he said that Sugar Sean was injured going into the last fight and he couldn't wrestle for a lot of weeks in the camp. That's number
Mhm.
one. But what really stuck out to me there, BG, and you can give me your thoughts on this, is that Tim Walsh was saying to Sugar Sean, "Come on, we got to wrestle. Come on, we got to wrestle." And Sugar saying,
Mm.
"No, I can't." You know what I mean? So, is there no like medical diagnosis that said he can't? Because why would Tim Walsh be asking him to wrestle if he
Yeah,
knows the guy can't wrestle, man? So, do
yeah.
you think there's a mentality problem here with Sugar Sean in that he doesn't want to go into those deep waters? But yeah, just give me your thoughts on what
Mm.
Tim Walsh has said there.
Just before I do that, was Tom Walsh referring to when you was asking for wrestling, was that during the fight with Marab or was that during training in the camp
Nah, that
building
was
up to the
during
fight?
training.
Um so yeah, I don't know. If he was injured and his back was the way it was and he couldn't really wrestle, then why would the coach, your head coach, be calling you for you to wrestle and wrestle more?
Exactly.
So maybe it wasn't that bad. And also, would you, Arman said we can pull out of a fight because of his back. So if his back was so in chops and he couldn't really wrestle, would you fight against someone that's predominantly going to wrestle you all the time? That doesn't sound very smart to me. So maybe there is something in that in terms of what you're saying, in terms of the mentality. I recently watched Sugar Sean's training video with Israel, Izzy,
Mm.
and he looked a little bit more relaxed in the video. It could be for the camera, but Sugar Sean did look a lot more chill. They trained at his gym back at his compound, and Sugar Sean looks a lot more composed and relaxed. And maybe he's a bit healed up. Maybe there was that, but in the end of the day, I don't want to spend too much attention on what he did and or what he didn't do back then. They're gonna fight again now, so now it's more about what is he gonna do now. What's the major difference with Sugar Sean now? Is he injury free? Is his mindset correct? Is he not? Is he going to wrestle this time? Because maybe he was just scared of getting gassed out by trying to burst a lot of energy and get up and then wrestle back. He might be
Mm.
unsuccessful in that, and then he can't fight rounds 3, 4, and 5 because Marab's not going to get tired.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think that was spoken about a lot during this interview. Is that he was almost hesitant to explode because he knew that he didn't have the cardio,
Oh,
that wrestling type of cardio, man,
oh,
to get back to his feet and then still throw punches. So basically, the
see
point he
there.
was trying to make here is that Sugar Sean is a lot more well prepared this time going in.
Mm.
Um, and then yeah, just the second part of the question here related
Uh-huh.
to the sphere itself and the lighting. But I'll let Tim Walsh and Brett Akamoto take it away here, and then we'll just
Mhm.
give our thoughts after that.
he almost, I mean, he hurt Merab in the 5th round of that fight. So, of course, he was capable of winning the fight. But when you think back from a physical, like health standpoint and also just skills standpoint, was he really equipped to beat Merab at the Sphere?
I mean, he's such a sniper. He's such a sniper. And if you make the wrong decision, if you make one mistake against him, he's going to put your lights out and he's going to put one on the dot. So I just think it was meant to happen. I've rewatched that fight so many times. I rewatched the fight in slow-mo so many times. There was tons and tons of shots that barely missed by inches that would have completely changed the fight. And I think a lot of it had to do, I mean, with the Sphere and the lighting and then not only injury. I just feel like in our lives that was supposed to happen. It really, really caused us to truly just level up as humans. And it was, looking back, it was good, really good for us.
Okay, so there is the comment about the lighting atmosphere actually being a factor. But yeah, he does kind of mention a few other things, like I alluded to earlier, the fact that he was unable to wrestle during training. So yeah, with all of this said now, BG, you have a clip also for us
Yeah,
from Merab's camp. So I'll bring that up now.
cool. It's
And we can
it's a nice rebuttal.
yeah, just a bit of a rebuttal from Merab's camp now, because I mean, I'll let Merab's camp take it away, and then we can discuss it after.
Yeah, yeah,
get
let's
the
do
full
that.
story.
Let's get the rebuttal out there. So let's play it. This video was on Submission Radio. I forget what the head host, I forget what this dude's name is, but he's really good. He's really good at how he interviews some of the guys. So yeah, John Wood, he was obviously in the coaching corner of Merab over the last couple of fights, actually. So let's hear the rebuttal.
Before, but you mentioned how he made the comment about the Sphere lighting impacting Sean's visibility or whatever he was throwing strikes. What was your reaction when you first saw those comments hit the internet? You would have had a reaction, surely, right? Like, were you in the what were you in the team
That
doing
was my
when you saw those
reaction right there.
comments?
That was one of those. I use that.
That's got to be up there, right?
I use this
It's gotta be up
emoji a
there.
lot when I see these things. This is the, I usually just like, oh my God. But listen, that really could be true. Like I don't know. Like, who's for me to say what somebody felt or what Sean felt? I'm certainly not the guy in there throwing punches. And so, like I said, I'm going to take them at their word. Do I think that you should say some of those things out loud in public? I don't know. Like it's sometimes it sounds a little whatever. I don't even want to comment to that, but it's not something I would come out and say, hey, the lighting, affected some of the punches. But hey, man, you know what? They get out there and say everything goes right and they land one of those punches and you might come back and see, it was the lighting. Who am I supposed to, how am I, I can't really call him a liar. Like, I don't know. We don't know. It sounds a little cheesy to me, but it's fine. Like you have the right to say whatever you actually feel or think, or whatever you didn't even feel and think. That's America for you. You can say some of the dumbest shit you've ever wanted to say on the live public.
Yeah, he doesn't really go into other much detail. That's kind of the rebuttal there. And yeah, I don't know what your sentiments on that one, AD, but I personally think that there were so many other fighters that fought in that card, right? None of them ever spoken about what the lighting did now. It affected them. A lot of them didn't even. They kind of just blocked it out. And we had another title fight that was on that same card with the ladies of Shevchenko and Grasso, and they didn't say, "Oh, the Sphere made me fight a particular way." They fought their fight. The only difference that most fighters spoke about was that the audiences was actually very far away from the ring, so it made them a little bit more quiet than usual than what they used to as athletes when they're fighting in different arenas. So, yeah. That being said, I still don't think it's a lie. I can kind of see some truth in it in the same time. And maybe it just happened to affect Suga Sean, but it didn't affect the other guys the same way. And look, he lost on the night and he was getting beaten in a way that was kind of embarrassing. And if he was not seeing the shots because he couldn't because of the lights, then that was his issue. But at the end of the day, you lost the fight, bro, and you're getting a second opportunity by the grace of Dana. So let's see what you got now. Let's see if there's anything different. I personally feel like there won't be that much different. Suga Sean is good in jiu-jitsu, but not necessarily in combat sambo or wrestling. So yeah, it's just a different ball game. We'll see if there's anything different of him.
Yeah, I mean, there's
What
a
do you
lot
think?
of excuses coming from Tim Welch and Suga Sean for the reason why they lost the first fight. I mean, they were
Yeah.
talking about the lighting They're talking about he's too active on social media. Talking about like he's not completely focused on the fight. So many things that, to me, bro, honestly, just sounds like excuses. And again, like you said, he's very lucky to be getting this immediate rematch because we all know that's bullshit. This is complete and utter rubbish that he's getting an immediate rematch. And when they asked Dana about it, all he says is, "This is the fight that people want to see." Who, my bro?
Lies.
Who? Show me one person who actually wants to see this fight besides Tim Welch and Suga Sean, bro.
Yeah,
Merab
lies.
is more than happy to take the rematch too because he knows it's easy money, bro.
He knows it's easy money.
He
Yeah.
knows it's easy money. So, yeah, I like you. I don't see much of a difference going to
Yeah.
happen in the second time they fight. But yeah, I mean, if he loses now, then Sugar Sean is completely the hype train has well and truly been derailed here because
Yeah.
I mean, getting this immediate rematch again, we're also pissed off because of that, and now he's also gonna be getting. Now he loses also, and then it's like, where does it leave him? So so this is like
Exactly.
literally how do or die because they've given all the excuses possible they could possibly give. So they've got no excuses now going into the second fight. So yeah, hopefully Merab can put this one to bed, and the
Yeah.
bantamweight division can move on because there's a lot of killers in the bantamweight division, but people who
Yeah.
deserve
Yeah.
shots a lot more than Sugar Sean. So yeah,
Facts.
it's a bit
More
frustrating to
active.
see. Exactly, it's a bit frustrating to see, but it's not surprising.
No,
You
I
know what I'm
completely
saying?
agree, my friend. And I also think that moves like that kind of highlights a little bit of where the UFC is at right now. Since we're on the news segment, it does feel a little bit like they're stale at the moment because you're doing fishy moves. The moves aren't really motivated in terms of like when I say moves, I'm referring to business moves for the company and fight matchmaking and things. And it just feels like a move like this that they've done for Sugar Sean kind of highlights where this company is at this current stage right now. I mean, we're going into another fight week, a fight card before pay per view event, and like I've never seen the UFC media being this quiet and this boring over the last 2 weeks. It's just like what the hell's going on, bro? And if this is really what we're talking about, it's like you know
Yeah.
exactly. It's just crickets all day.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it says everything we need to say in terms of, like you said, how quiet the media are. But on that topic of kind of where the UFC is in terms of giving certain fighters privilege, I don't know if you saw what Din Thomas recently said about FWF, who of course has been on a massive streak now.
mhm.
But apparently they're going to give the title fight to Yair Rodriguez.
Yes,
Rodriguez
yes,
is
I
getting
saw
a
that.
rematch, and
Yeah,
FWF is once again being overlooked. And Din
absolutely.
Thomas says this is good because fighters like Ivloev are bad for the sport. That's what he pretty much said. He said they're bad for the sport because somebody watches an Ivloev fight and they're not necessarily the most deep into MMA with the technical expertise and stuff. They're not going to be entertained. So
Okay.
by that logic, Yair Rodriguez is a better title fight than Evloev, which is, I mean, I can't understand how you can justify that the streak this man has been on and not give him the next title fight, bro. It just doesn't make sense. So it's a circus, bro. It's all about who can pull eyeballs to the sport at the
That's
moment,
the
and that's
case.
like pretty much where we're at. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you beat, no matter who you beat, no matter the streak you're on. Do you have 1 million
Yeah,
followers on Instagram? Are you gonna sell this many pay-per-views? That's like the
yeah,
criteria you have to meet these days. You know what I mean? Which is,
yes.
guess it is what it is, but
And
it's a
then
business at the end of the day. So
no, I completely understand. But I mean, do they really have to prioritize making millions and billions? You make that on a normal day. You make that when you're
mm,
sick in bed. You know what I mean? The company doesn't have to be that much of a cash cow injection or trying to produce that much. Just focus on putting on really great fights. Get back to the basics of what you did in the past. You know, when you're doing fight night events, screw the UFC Apex. Go back to making it arenas as well. Put some title fights back into the fight night. You'll get the fighters hungry again. You'll get fighters hungry again. They won't be so to protect records and to I want to choose this fight and that fight only because it's best for my business. And you know, no, back in the day, people didn't even worry about that. They knew they were going to get paid if you put on an explosive performance. If you go in there and have a hell of a show, the UFC is going to prioritize you again and again and again and again. Now you got all
mm,
these athletes fighting very much like careful. You know what? Robocop is the last standing athlete that still wants to fight that way. You know, like
mm.
oh, we're gonna go to the balls of the wall because I want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
Car
it's
crash,
it's
Baba.
it's just the UFC has gone to very much like turn into moldy bread, my friend. Turn into
Mm.
moldy bread at the moment.
Yeah, but we do have other stories we need to get to. BG, let us know in the comments your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. As you can hear, quite a passionate topic for us here at Fighting with Famous. But yeah, let us know in the comments your thoughts. Like and
And
subscribe to the channel. BG.
sorry, the last thing I will go before I move on to the next story. With that matchmaking of not giving it to Evil Eve, like he's proven so many. He's taken out Aljamain Sterling, who's a former champion, right? I know it's in the division below, but let's be real. Aljamain Sterling isn't really a bantamweight. I mean, yeah, a bantamweight. He's actually a lightweight, and now he's trying to weight bully in a featherweight division where he's kind of getting matched up because he's realizing the featherweight guys are also typically 155ers, 165ers. So what I wanted to say was the UFC hid behind the notion of we're going to give Yair Rodriguez the fight because it's on Mexican Independence Day, but it's one of the Mexican heritage days that they're gonna make the fight card be on. You could have just put Yair Rodriguez against Diego Lopez, basically two Mexican
Exactly.
dudes going up against each other on the Mexican day. Make that the main event or even co-main event, and then keep Evloev Volkanovski. It's like the natural
Exactly.
progression. Fans would be happy. Everyone would be happy. The fighters wouldn't argue with that because I know that would be the rightful thing to actually do. Because now Evlo, if he's tweeting with Volkanovski and they're in agreement of like, it's out of our hands. Because they both wanted that fight. They both campaigned for that fight, but the UFC didn't make it happen. So now it's like, so I actually hope that Volkanovski smashes Rodriguez in the first 2 rounds. And Evlo beats whoever they're going to give him next. I can't remember which fight it was, but they did make the announcement of it. And they were going to eventually get that fight. But yeah, let's move on to the next story.
Yeah, man. Let's
Before-
hope so. And just again, that Diego Lopez Yair Rodriguez fight was right there for everyone to see. There was that flashpoint in the press conference. So yeah. Anyway, Dana's obviously not reading our mails, bro. So we'll just have to keep sending them. But
Okay,
anyway, we're gonna go to our next story then.
yeah,
And
I'm
this
sure it's been
is
popping off. Hey, what you gonna say?
no, I'm just talking about BJ Penn here, bro.
Oh, we're going to
Um,
BJ Penn.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
what else
okay.
did you have?
I had
But
my
I'm
abs
still.
broken toe.
Oh yeah.
But
Now okay, go because we are on the topic now, still of Sugar Sean. So yeah, let's go to that. Sorry, I forgot about that part.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it came out now because it happened within this I think like a few days ago, or was it last week? Early or late last week. Where the story came out that my dad broke his pinky toe, and everyone's panicking about it because it's uh, a week out of his fight against Sugar Sean at 316, and this is what Coach John Wood had to say about it.
Yeah.
Broken toe? How many more updates can this guy give us? What's going
It's
on?
one of
with
those
toe?
things, man. I can't win with that guy. Like, I literally leave for a day and something goes on, but he loves to rile everybody up. And the thing is like he's as much as people think, oh, that's stupid or this or that, like he would never post something that was going to take him out of a fight, so like guys, if he's posting something, it's really not that bad, and he's not going to bother, it's not going to bother him that bad. So I'm sure he broke his toe, but like, you don't understand. Every camp and every fighter, even O'Malley says it, everybody's banged up. There's a level of just injuries that you go into fights with. That's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be, and that's the way it always is. So it's just one of those things that obviously Merab likes to post about a little more than everybody else. So it's all right though. He's all good.
Yeah. He also talks about some of the injuries that Merab had, even going into the Umar Magomedov fight, and the fact that he had staph infection in that fight as well. I'm going to close my page so we can break it down before we move on to the next one with BJ Penn. But what's your make of that? Because I think Merab spoke about it also as well on Michael Bisping's podcast about his broken toe, and what he said, he said, "I have 9 other toes." So
Yeah.
I don't know what you make of that, but what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Miram's an absolute tank, bro. It's going to take a lot to keep him out of a fight. And apparently, this is the same toe injury that kept Conor McGregor out against Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
make what you will of that. Lets you know where the man's head's at, bro. So, I mean, to break a toe and say you got 9 others, that's all I need to hear, bro. That's like, lets me know exactly where this guy's head's at. And he's an absolute machine. And fair play
1000%.
to Merab, bro. Much respect to him. Because another fighter
Yeah,
could have made a big deal out of it, Brian, and but
and not make
yeah,
the fight. Yeah.
again, just an absolute animal, Brian. I hope he again can take Sugar Sean down and hopefully even finish him, Brian. It's not likely, but yeah, we can hope. You know,
We can
Merab.
hope, yeah. It's hard to finish him.
But
He's never
not,
been
not
finished.
likely. I mean,
Yeah,
he was
Suga
finished
Sean's never
against
been.
Cheeto, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
controversial
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
circumstances.
thought he was finished in that.
But Merab just doesn't finish guys really. Also, that's the thing.
No, he just tries to humiliate you over 5 rounds.
And he usually does. He usually gets it right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
think he's
mean,
gonna be fine, man. I don't think that's gonna be a big deal. I think
yeah,
this the timing is what I think it is. This injury though happened last week and not in this week, and that means he has a little bit over more than over the week and a half to actually recover. So I think he will be okay.
yeah. Well, yeah. Let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts there, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll keep it moving now to our next story. And if you've been watching Fighting with Friends, you know that we've been covering the story with our boy BJ Penn very closely. BJ Penn has officially now been arrested. I'm told that the official charge sheet says assault, and this was the charge was made by his mother. But you'll hear in the video that the charge is only harassment, but I think that was just said to him to get him to comply and come along with him to the police station. So yeah, I'm gonna play the video now. This is actually quite. I mean, I know that we were kind of poking fun at it in the earlier videos, but this is like, it's actually quite sad to see. So I'm gonna play the video, but honestly, just wishing the best for BJ Penn and his family at this time.
Arrest for harassment. This is my house. I just went to go grab the mail.
So I'll explain more to you.
You can film if you want.
We just have to.
It's not that I want to, I have to. This is kind of weird.
Can you just step outside? Thank you.
I'm not sure what he did. What did he do? What did he do? That's my question.
Can we call an officer that I know that can talk to you guys?
John,
I don't even have
the
a
officer's phone number.
or
you
Brian
have.
Kurahara,
He'll
somebody.
He'll be at the station.
What? Okay. Why am I being arrested again?
Harassment.
But what did he do?
What kind of harassment? But anybody can say that at any time.
Okay. We'll explain more, but we gotta do that at the station.
Harassment. What does harassment mean?
It's just a petty misdemeanor offense.
Here, how about this? I'm gonna step in right here.
So there's that message that because this was posted from BJ Penn's Instagram, and all these messages you're seeing, he's kind of edited into the video.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see my cousin Federal Agent Jade Mayo Hanoka doing anything she can to throw BJ Penn in prison to steal BJ Penn's family fortune. So yeah, again, the conspiracy runs deeper here. So we'll finish the video, BJ, and then you can just give us your thoughts, please.
I'm from Chicago. These games don't fly with me. We're gonna go to a hotel for a couple of days because this is all bullshit. He didn't do anything though. What did he do?
Why? For what? For what? For what though? What's going on? I don't understand. I know you have.
What did he do?
Why am I getting arrested? Let's fuck downstairs. You guys just want to get me out of the.
So yeah, that's that. I mean, again, just very distressing footage there that we're seeing. So BG, do you have any thoughts that you can share there regarding BJ Penn and his current situation?
Yeah, look, firstly, it's not not a good situation to be in. It looks that's a nightmare. You don't want to have all these police officers over your bed asking you to come to the station so they can have a conversation, and they won't even like you said, they just trying to get him out, so they're going to say, "Oh, it's just harassment," but turns out that it is assault. What can I say about it? It's quite dark, actually. It really is quite dark. I don't know. Did he actually assault her?
Don't know.
And also what I find quite interesting about the police officers is that they weren't really trying to use any force.
Yeah,
Like
I
to
mean,
get
it's BJ Penn, bro.
Yeah,
So I
but he's
think
also
they might
laying
be a
there
bit
like
scared.
and I mean he's not complying with him, so like you would expect the police officer to use a little bit of more force to kind of get him to come, but not like be too aggressive, right?
Yeah,
Which
but I
kind of
think
leaves
he's
me
like a
thinking,
respected guy, man. You know, like he's
yeah,
respected in the community and stuff, so they don't want to make a big deal. And now his cousin's recording, so
yeah, I guess that. Um, Sheesh, I don't know, and if so many people are starting to say that it's still not his real mother, and he's been saying it the whole time. It's kind of and I remember in our first video that we were talking, I was saying who's to prove BJ Penn wrong, who's to say what he's talking about isn't true. Remember, I was like, it could sound like it's a loony bin thing, but maybe there's truth to what he's saying because you wouldn't just make this kind of stuff up, right? You wouldn't just make this up. For what reason?
I mean, this is the same guy who said that the CIA is responsible for Ilia Topuria knocking out Max Holloway, bro. So, you
I
know,
remember you said that. Yeah, I remember. I remember.
so
But I mean, but
yeah,
this is more. But this is more like, I mean, this police officer's in his house. You know what I mean? This is a lot more serious than saying a statement like that. Anyone can make up that statement.
yeah, but I'm just saying the logic. I think logic has left him a long time ago, right? It might be CTE, it might be drug abuse, but yeah, it's just very sad to see, and I hope that they'll check him into some kind of a rehabilitation facility and he can get the help that he needs because it's sad to see such a great
Mm,
legend in the sport go out like this. And it
yeah.
also seems like he's not like surrounding himself with the right people because, yeah, that guy
Mm,
also just
mm.
sounds sketchy, bro.
He does, yeah. Look, this is not the first time that BJ Penn's getting arrested, right? The last time it was also for
Yeah.
assault. So it's a similar pattern. And like you say, I
Mm,
don't really think it's CT. I think maybe it's just drug abuse, bro. Drug and alcohol abuse. Maybe it's because it doesn't look like BJ Penn set himself up for a solid future after fighting. You know, like there's no gym or he's got this head coach or he's producing a school of fighters or something. Like he didn't try and look at the extension of himself after he's competed.
mm,
You
mm,
know,
mm,
he
mm.
just basically took that cash, maybe bought a liquor house, set himself up with a good fortune, and then party like a rock star, bruh.
Could be, could be. But okay,
but I
yeah. I
do,
mean,
but
yes.
it does leave me in a very like sad state if I think about it because I always supported BJ Penn when he was competing. I remember myself and Jed used to have a little back and forth about because he didn't like BJ Penn that much. But I was like, "Nah, I think this dude is a beast, bro, and he fights really well. And he made me a fan, especially when he was coaching as well. And tried to fight for 2 titles when he fought the GSP. And I was like, nah, this dude is he's top, dude. He's got some epic, iconic battles in the UFC.
Mm.
And yeah, to see it go down this way, it was like, not BJ Penn, bro. But okay, like you said,
Yeah,
we hope he
but
gets help.
yeah, hopefully he gets the help he needs. Yeah. And again, yeah, like I said, we started off with that story very lightheartedly, and it's taken a very dark turn. So yeah, just again hoping
Yes.
that BJ Penn gets the help that he needs. And let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts on that one, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have a fight card to get to this weekend. It's UFC Fight Night Blanchfield versus Barber, and it's taking place this Sunday morning at what is it, 1 a.m. South African time? 3 a.m.
Yeah.
South African time. The main card begins at 3 a.m. So yeah, BG, another fight night card on the cards for us here at Fighting with Friends, and as always, we will start
At the top of the card.
at the top of the card. As aforementioned, we do see Erin Blanchfield, the number 4 ranked women's flyweight. She's 13, 2-0, 2 by KO, 4 by sub. She's 7-1 in the UFC, only losing to Manon Firo. Coming up against Macy Barber, number 5 women's flyweight. Record in UFC is 14-2-0. She's on a 6-fight streak. Last time out, beating Caitlin Serminara by unanimous decision. So yeah, BG. Of course, this fight card is not the most entertaining. But what can you tell us about the main
Do
event
you
here?
want to watch that?
Wonderful fight. Actually, look, this is I wouldn't mind watching this one. So I'm gonna try and get up to make it in time for this one. I'm not too sure I'm gonna make it for all of it, but this fight is intriguing for me. It's 2 top contenders in the flyweight division right now, number 4 versus number 5. Both of them on some good streaks. I know Erin Blanchfield lost to Manon Firo. I mean Manon Firo that he put it on a use the size, use the power advantage. Erin Blanchfield, she's not like the most decorated striker, but she's competent enough to be defensively sound and set up her best top game, which is obviously wrestling. Um, as for Macy Barber is more of like an aggressive pit bull. She's just going to come at you with a lot of speed, a lot of forward momentum, let you fight backwards, and she strikes. I won't say better than Manon Firo, but she will strike more frequently than Manon. She won't wait for you and pepper you with a jab and then counter strike you. Macy's gonna make it an ugly fight. She's gonna walk you down and she's gonna try and go to the body, go to the head, maybe throw some judo throws. also a very good wrestler. You must also remember Merab Barber is slightly big for this division. I think she came down from strawweight, if I'm not mistaken. So she is technically a bigger woman. She's taller as well, so she might use that power and height advantage in this fight. But that might set up the grappling exchanges because of that forward momentum pressure. It might set up Eden Blanchfield to do what she does, which is that get the hip, take you down, and she does some really good. Macy Barber, Eden Blanchfield's wrestling is something to witness. It's very good to watch. Obviously, when she fought Manon, that got completely nullified. So I don't know if it's going to happen again in this fight. I think we're going to have a bit of a dog fight this time, and I expect Eden Blanchfield to win because she's the more dominant grappler. But that's like, sand in the wind, because I think Macy Barber has got the exact skill set to put Eden out of it. You know what I mean? Because one thing that Manon did really well was that she was aggressive. She was aggressive against Eden. She didn't make Eden get comfortable at all. She was just aggressive, almost basically bullied her. And I think Macy is that fight. She's a bully. She bullies you. And she does exactly that, and she's healthy and she's good enough, and she's not facing any injuries. I think she can actually beat Eden. But I'm going to tip it slightly towards Eden Blanchfield just because she was one win away of getting a title shot that she lost to Manon. So I think the momentum isn't completely gone. I think it's there. Macy has been out for 8 to 9 months. So it's quite a big gap, and she was also injured during that time. I think she was sick also. So how's she going to do it? How's she going to look after that long layoff? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to go with the one that's a little bit more active here, and that's Eden Blanchfield.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. And ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts in the comments for the main event. Maybe even your thoughts about the card as a whole. Are we being a bit too harsh saying that this is a very shitty card and possibly the worst card of the year? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, we'll keep moving into the lightweight division. And here we see a man who was once touted as a possible prospect in the lightweight division. We see Mateus Gamrot, who's 24-3-0. He's got 8 wins by KO, 5 by sub. He lost to Dan O'Kerr by split decision in his last fight. Very close fight, by the way, there. And was on a 3-fight streak before that. He's coming up against Ludovic Klein, who is unranked. He's 23-4-1 in his professional record. He's got 9 wins by KO and 8 by sub. Last time out, he beat Roosevelt Roberts by unanimous decision. Currently on a 4-fight streak here. Sorry, my words are leaving me for a second. But yeah, 4-fight streak. So BG, what can you tell us here, bro?
I think this is going to be a banger of a fight as well, dude. And I agree with you. I think Mateus Gamrot was considered. I think he still is, to be honest with you. I think the fight against Danuka was a great fight. He was close to being finished, but he fought through it, and he made it a bit of a dog fight. And you also have to remember that he's been up against killers in his last 7 fights, right? He's been after beating Arman Saruki, and he's just gone up against the top guys. He hasn't fought down. So I can understand why he took the time off before coming back and training with Dustin Poirier and them. I think people probably forgot about this dude, and I think this is a performance where he's going to remind everybody why he still should be considered as a top contender for the lightweight division. Very superior wrestling to most of the guys in the division, if we've been honest, other than maybe Islam and Arman, and he beat Arman Sarukian. So that kind of tells you where his wrestling capabilities at. Dan Hooker is kind of an anomaly for lightweight because he's 6 foot plus and he's gigantic for the division. Ludovic Klein, very top striker. He's got very good grappling defense, super aggressive. He's shorter than Gamrot, actually significantly shorter than Gamrot. So I just wonder how he's going to utilize his striking ability in this fight, because Gamrot can also stand and bang. He can also, he can fight. And one thing about Gamrot is his wrestling is something that I don't think Ludovic Klein has faced before. So I'm keen to see what Ludovic Klein does when he takes on someone who's probably the best chain wrestler in the lightweight division by far. If he's going to miss a single or a high crotch, it doesn't matter. He will go to double. If he misses a double, he will chain you to the point where you think you can get this defensive position now, but then you forget about the next 2 defensive positions. And Gamrot's already past the 5th one. You know what I mean? That's how intense his wrestling really is.
I can't let you get close.
So I just wonder what Ludovic Klein's going to do with that. In terms of striking department, I think Ludovic Klein's a little bit better. He's got a very good high kick. He's got a very good low kick as well. But I mean, I don't know if that's going to stop Gamrot's wrestling. I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with it. And I think he might just get additional for 3 rounds. I don't know if it's going to be a stoppage in this fight, but it's going to be a very, very aggressive and high-paced kind of fight. And I expect Gamrot to come out on top just because he's by far the better wrestler in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he does have more of a pedigree. And I mean, if you look at some of the names that this guy's beat, it's very impressive resume. Let's be real. It's like you said,
Exactly.
Sarukian, he beat Faziev, he beat very close fight with Dan Hooker.
Mm.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of other names I was reading earlier, but yeah, he
Yeah,
does have
Faziev.
like yeah,
He beat
Faziev, eh?
Faziev, Dariush, Jalen Turner,
Yeah,
Dos
look there.
Anjos. Yeah, he's
There
just
we go.
gone. He's gone toe to toe with the best guys.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm also gonna tip it to Dan Hooker to get it done. Yeah. There are a few other fights in the card, BG, but I'm just gonna go to the ones
Mm,
that you gave me notes on.
mhm.
Gonna get out of your hair for a few minutes, and I'm just gonna let you talk us through the two honorable mentions that you put down here. So
Okay.
whenever you are ready, sir, please take it away.
Did I put down 2 honorable mentions? Okay, I did. I did. Oh, it's because I see Caitlin Vieira move to the main event. That's why I'm a bit thrown off here. Excuse me. Oh, it threw me off quite heavily. So, uh, I'll actually start with the Caitlin Vieira one just because that's now officially on the main card. Well, there we go. Da, da, da. Big fight as well. Two high ranked, two very high ranked athletes. Caitlin Vieira is ranked number 3. This is obviously bantamweight taking on Macy Chasson, and I'm excited for it. And I do think that we look at what's her name, Caitlin Vieira. She's been in there with also top contenders. I fought some really good battles. She beat Penny Kianzad in the last fight. She record in the UFC is 14 wins, 4 losses, no contest, 2 wins by KO, 4 by sub, 3 first round finishes. She obviously fought KS in the last fight, which I thought she could have won, by the way. I thought she was the better striker, but she didn't really put it to work. I thought she was a bit too freaked out by this size and aggression of Kayla Harrison and worried about being taken down, which then eventually she got taken down, and that was pretty much the whole fight. So we didn't really get to see the best of her in that division. I do kind of think that Caitlin Vieira is a little bit big for bantamweight, but there is no featherweight division, so she has to be fighting in this division, unfortunately. But she's ranked number 3. I think she's going to lose that spot after this weekend. I think Macy Chason is going to go in there and actually piece her up, be the more aggressive striker. She's got a very good record. She's got 10 wins, 3 losses, 3 wins by KO, 3 wins by sub. She beat Mayra Bueno Silva in the last fight by Dr. Stoppage. She was piecing up Mayra Bueno Silva, by the way. Looked phenomenal. And I like her style. I watched her in the Ultimate Fighter. I think she was a bit very young and green at the time. She was getting taken down a lot. But now she's honed into a size. She's got a good build for the division. She's got a good length for the division as well. Her striking looks phenomenal. Wrestling is still yet to be questioned, but I mean, it's there, and she got really good takedown defense. So I do think that Macy with the momentum and leveled up in the striking, I think she's gonna be able to win the fight. Maybe through either 3-round decision or stoppage in the second round. But she has to be careful because Caitlin Vieira is a very good striker and she's got bombs in those hands. But I do think she's slower than Macy. I think for that reason, Macy's gonna just keep her on the outside and jab her. Maybe when she sees she can go in, you're gonna see some elbows and stuff. Macy's very creative with the striking, so that's gonna be a bang. And I'm happy that they moved it up to the main card. And yeah, well, the bantamweight definitely needs a lot more characters and what you call it, consistent winners. And I think Macy's on a streak right now, so she can definitely be a character for that division. And then the other honorable mention, which is the only other one that I have really, is the main event of the undercard. We got Jafal Filio, and he's taking on Alan Nascimento. I'm not too familiar with Alan, but I do know Jafal, and I think Jafal is fantastic. He's a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner. Flyweight. This is gonna be a good pacey kind of fight. We're gonna get some dust bunnies. Jafal, like I said, he's got good striking. His record is 16 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest, 5 wins by KO, 10 wins by sub, and 8 first round finishes. And he beat Ode Osborne in his last fight by sub. It was a first round submission as well. So that kind of tells you the pedigree. And if you think about Ode Osborne, you saw how good he looked in his last fight. Jafal is up there, dude. It's just sometimes he gets cracked. He's a little bit too aggressive and then he gets cracked, and you see him on skates a lot. But I think when he gets to the ground, dude, he's going to put you away. Allen, his record in the UFC, his record is 20 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 2 wins by KO, 14 wins by sub, and 12 first round finishes. He beat Carlos Hernandez by sub in his last fight. So this could be a very much a high level grappling matchup. So I'm very excited for it. Like I said, I'm going to try and get up for some of these fights. It's just the motivation isn't really there, but there are some good fights on the card that, that might pique your interest.
Give thanks. Give thanks, brother Gaia. I'm back in the small corner here. I don't know if you can see me. But
Let's
yeah,
see.
Sean,
Yeah.
thanks, BG, keeping you up to date with the rest of the card there. So yeah, as always, BG, we're just gonna go to some final thoughts as well as a pre-fight rating for the card, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Final thoughts. If I can only really count 3 really entertaining fights on a card of what's this 12 fights in total, that doesn't really speak volume. Or sorry, it's less than 12. It doesn't speak much. It doesn't make me want to go, oh, you're the UFC. And we spoke about that earlier in the episode. I'm not going to do it again. And the pre-fight rating, I would have to go with a 3. I might be feeling I want to get up for it.
Yeah.
But hopefully the fights are going to be amazing, and then we can report on it when we do a nice recap this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a fair score, to be honest, BG. I'm going to give it the same. And I think that's a kind score considering the quality of the card. I think Mateus Gamera being on it really saves the card because, like we said, he's the only one on the card who really has like real pedigree against top
Well,
contenders.
and the 2 women's fights, because it's top 5 contenders. Both fights are top 5. So that's
Yeah, just don't. I mean, women's MMA being what it is at the moment, it's a very tough sell as a main event. If it's not Valentina, if it's not Zhang Weili,
Whaley.
it's not Natalia Silva for me, as you guys all know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's a very
Yeah.
tough sell at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm hoping these women can pick it up and bring some life back to women's MMA. But
I'll
we'll
say
find out. Yeah.
my last thing. Sorry, I'll say that the women's MMA. I won't branch it as women's MMA. I'll say UFC's women's MMA. Because if you go watch, for example, One Championship, PFL, and you go watch the women's competing in those divisions, dude, it's like it's high level. Also getting women are stopping each other almost every week. I can tell you now. If you go look at Denise Ambawanga, them Ayaka Miura, the list go on Amsuhi, so on, so on, so. They are finishing their fights, bruh. You know what I mean? They are ending fights. They're putting on bloody performances. So maybe there's a different level. Maybe because the payments is so different. I don't know what it is, but something is making the women's MMA and UFC not that fun. And when you look at other organizations, you see highlights of this one being stopped, that one being stopped. I myself watch a lot of MMA, of women's MMA and One Championship, and it's entertaining fights. Anyway, we are here now.
Yeah, I wonder what it could be. It's very interesting because these women in the UFC get paid a lot more than other organizations, so that should, you would think that would motivate them more to
Exactly
put on better performances. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts in the comments on that one. Very strange one, but of course, if you had made it this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Watch the podcast every day. Joe Rogan. But for myself, Brother Gaia, Brother Barber, all of us here at Fighting with Friends, have a wonderful week further, and we are out of here.